Hi, I'm Supriya, and today I wanted to tell you a story of transformation and change, and how thinking about your life in a certain way can actually lead you to happiness. Now, this happiness may not be in conformity with what you've been brought up to believe or what you've been groomed for, but it's a path to decide what matters for you in life and how to achieve that. So, this is a story of someone very close to me, and she was conditioned from childhood to believe that she needs to become a doctor just because her father was a doctor too. And this is a very brilliant girl that we're talking about. Okay, all these, close to 100 percentiles and, things like that. But so she's getting all A's. She's acing every exam that she sits, and because there's been never any other option, she spends 10 years studying medicine, and she's good at it. She's acing those exams as well, but she's deeply unhappy, and she doesn't know why. And after 10 years of doing that, I met her, and she had spent four of those years outside of the country. After I met her, she had changed considerably. Like from the bubbly, joyful, friendly girl that I knew, this was an individual who was just given up. Who was like, okay, this is where I'm going. This is what I need to do. And she had no friends left, and she didn't know who to even talk to if she wanted to just went or have a little get together with it. She didn't connect with anyone, so she lost that very integral part of herself. And it was a shock to see her like that, right? So I asked her three questions. I sat her down and I said, here's what we're going to do. You're going to answer these three questions, and then you're going to decide what is the action that you need to take in life to be happy. Because after studying 10 years of medicine, you're already 30 years old, right? So you've completed 30 years of your life, and if you're not happy now, then there is time to change. So, here are the three questions that I think are very important for each one of us to really sit down and evaluate over and over again, once every couple of years, to see if we're going in the right direction and if what we're doing is still making us happy. So the first question is, what are your key priorities in life? What is it that gives you the most joy? What is it that you're not willing to give up at any cost? Right? Now these could be 3 things, 5 things, it could be just 2 things. It's up to you, but just don't make a laundry list, but make sure that you're only picking things that are really, really important for you. So for example, in my list, the top item is freedom. So whatever I choose personally or professionally aligns to that. Recently a client came to me and they wanted me to manage their social media handle, and I said, that's a 24/7 project, and that's not something I can take on because my life revolves around my son, and I need that freedom of or the flexibility of schedule to manage that. So that project is not going to work for me, right? And in this time of crisis where there's actually business shutting down, saying no to a project takes a lot of courage, I would say, or effort, or you think 10 times. But I always think back to what matters most to me, and then that allows me to say, no, this is not going to work. Because even if I take on that project, I would not be happy doing it. And maybe the crisis is short-lived, but that unhappiness will just leave a bad taste. So the first point is figure out what is non-negotiable in your life. The second question is about what is it that you never want to do? What is it that makes you deeply unhappy? And again, this could be 2, 3, 5 things, whatever you want, but make sure you think about it carefully and make that list down. So for instance, for this girl that I spoke about, she never wanted to do another night shift again. Like she was so sick and tired of it, and she said, I never want to do 30-hour, including night shifts again. So that's a very valid point. If that's not something that works for you, if that's what changes you as a person, don't do it. So make that list that, okay, this is not what sparks joy in my life. And the third question is to ask yourself why you're doing that. There are many triggers it could be social pressure, it could be the upbringing that you have, it could be your peer group, it could be the fear of judgment or the need for social validation that pushes us in a direction that we don't want to go in the first place. So what is it that's driving you towards doing something that doesn't align with your life priorities in the first place? So again, this girl that I was talking about, one of the things was this childhood conditioning, right? That you need to become a doctor because being a doctor is a very prestigious thing to be and you need to get that degree. So that was one of the things that was driving her, that everybody is expecting you to become a doctor. Do you want to become one? No. Does being a doctor align with what your life priorities are, and does it really align with what you really don't want to do in life? No. But because of those social pressures, because of the way people will think of you, people will perceive you that, oh, she left her degree midway, we keep doing things that we really don't want to do. What happens after you ask yourself these questions is you get a direction. Especially the third question, when you keep going, why am I doing this? You arrive at a root cause of that trigger, which is going in the direction, which is taking you in a direction that's not relevant in your life, and that direction leads to unhappiness, right? And then it's up to you to eliminate that trigger, and that's what takes courage, because most often than not, it's a very, very deep-rooted belief that is triggering things like that. So it takes a lot of courage to beat that out and then move in a direction that really gives you happiness. And it's not a very immediate thing, you can't decide on the spot that this is what I'm going to do. And the repercussions of taking the decision towards your happiness is also going to chase you for a while, right? So this girl that I talked about, she finally quit her degree, she packed her bags and she moved back to India. She got a job, she used the skills that she had learned in the process. Of course, she didn't let the 10 years of education just go to waste, but she used those skills to get into a consulting role, and today she's doing brilliantly well. She's back to that network of friends that she had missed out on, and she's back to being that bubbly, joyous, happy self that I knew all those years ago, right? Though there is still judgment, though there are people who still say, oh my God, you left your degree, why don't you go back and do it? But that's not what she wants to do. And I think that's the most important aspect of following your heart. Do you have the courage to do it? So yes, that's all I wanted to talk about today. These are my 3 questions that keep me in the direction that follows my heart. What are your approaches? I'd be really interested in hearing those as well. So drop me a comment or drop me a line, subscribe to these video series, and be unstoppable.